Hi, I'm Dr. Kathleen Young, board certified child, adolescent, and adult psychiatrist. And for those of you who are just new and starting to follow me here on my YouTube channel, I just want to say that a lot of these little videos and shorts that I record are just things that I see clinically that I think are interesting. And I want to just talk about them quickly, little snippets or little ideas about autism spectrum disorder and neurodivergence. And so if it feels like it's just a small topic, that's because it is. And if you want to know more, you can always reach out and let me know, and I will do a longer video. But I want to talk today about help rejection or help resistance as a form of rigidity. And I see this a lot when I'm working with parents, parents of kids on the spectrum who might have less obvious presentations of autism or who just have ADHD and intense executive dysfunction, whatever it is. There's oftentimes these kids or young adults will kind of be help rejecting or help resisting. So the parents will say, why don't you do this? Or I can get you an executive functioning tutor, or I can help you in this way. And they just don't want to have any part of it and they resist it. And it's really hard to watch as a parent because you really want to help and you see your kids struggling. And so how I like to explain it to parents is one, I think some of it is overwhelm, meeting with an executive coach every week is another appointment and more tasks. And I think even if these are all things that will help in the long run, I think people on the spectrum tend to experience it as like, sensory overload, the path to overwhelm, just having more things to do, more tasks to do. And I think that sometimes the natural reaction is to just shut it down and avoid it altogether and not deal with it, even if it could be helpful. So I think thinking about taking on one more thing is hard, but I also think there's a rigidity that I see to it. This idea that, a lot of these kids, I call them kids, they could be young adults, they're very, very bright. So their intelligence is high, and this idea that they can't just do it is a dissonance or a disconnect. So I think they get locked into this rigid thinking of I'm really smart and I should be able to do this, so I don't need it. So it's not just dismissing the parents straight off or not wanting to take on another task. That's one piece of it. But when I talk to these kids, what I find is a lot of them are having trouble reconciling how they can be so smart and still need a lot of help. So it is a little bit of rigidity that we see in autism spectrum disorder or neurodivergence, this idea about like, if I'm smart, I should be able to do this. And so some of the ways of dealing with this is to just appeal to that sort of inflexibility or rigidity and help promote flexible thinking and finding an in a way to sort of reason and create a little bit of a loosening up of that belief. So that's all I have, but this is my video on help resistance. I like to call it resistance. That feels less intense than rejection as a form of rigidity or cognitive rigidity.